Hello, welcome Tracy Tutty, a woman who said yes to social media love and is going to talk to us. And we are, as we are recording, we are in 8-8 energy.
Love it.
Feel for you 8-8 energy because yours.
Oh, I love it. It just feels like it's interesting. You know, I read this really interesting post where they said even if you're not a believer of 8-8 energy, the fact that so many people around the world are tuned into manifestation and abundance and goal setting and all the things I want in this world, like all of that collective consciousness, means it can't help but happen. So yay, love this energy.
Okay,
I'm so glad we're talking together on this day. How cool is that?
Yes, I love it. Especially, I was telling Tracy that to all of you, if you have a Reiki session, try to not plan it too close to an interview, because when I got out of the Reiki session, I was like, oh my God, how am I going to be able to talk? I felt that I was coming back from another planet. I don't know if it was the 8-8 energy, but it was a very profound session. And I was like, oh my God. And then I feel totally clear with you. Like I just drove 15 minutes and then I feel like, yeah, let's do this. So thank you for allowing me to be a little late and be with you today, Tracy, because I trust that today someone's going to hear you. And my goal with the case study that I do live like this is to have, I believe that when you choose a coach, a guide, a mentor in whatever field in your life. So in your situation, it was in sales, marketing, and visibility, right? We each have our own way to experience it and use the pieces that serves us at this moment in time in our life. So that's why I wanted to talk to you, Tracy, because we spent a year together in what is now called the Visibility Amplifier privately. So before we go there, I want you to introduce yourself and tell us where you are and the beautiful things you do in the world, because the women we attract here are so magnetizing and they help people in a level that they don't even realize how much they help the people they help. So Tracy, go.
Go, I love it. So hi, I'm Tracy Tutty. I'm joining you actually from the other side of the world. I'm in the Wairarapa in New Zealand. So it's tomorrow to Angelique's today, which is like right.
It's tomorrow.
I love it, eh? So I'm a chartered accountant, a medical herbalist, and an executive coach. So what does that mean? Well, I'm happily in the world of corporate. So I help leaders to heal themselves. I help them to be not to fix themselves as a leader, but to become more of the leader that they were born to be, so that they step back from that overwhelm and that overextending and feeling uncomfortable in their leadership. And they're not like changing their leadership based on the room that they're in and the people that they're in. So a really direct link with visibility. So, visibility isn't just for people who are in their own business, it's for leaders as well. And it's something that helps us to build our personal brands, but more importantly, it helps us to heal our teams. So that's a little bit about me.
I love it. So tell me, what type of teams are you healing? Like, what do you enjoy the most? Give me a scenario.
Well, because I'm a chartered accountant and proud of that, I think my favorite space is in that finance land, because I don't know if you're aware of this, but in the world of finance, in the world of being an accountant, a chartered accountant, we go through a little bit of an evolution, particularly in relation to the introduction of AI, taking away more of the transactional elements of accounting. And so what that means is we get this amazing opportunity to partner with businesses now. We now have that bandwidth and that space to reach out across the organization and start adding value in that way. And for a lot of accountants, it's a little bit hard to get your head around it because it's not traditionally what we were taught to do. So my favorite space at the moment is working with finance managers, helping them to lead their teams even better.
Yeah, I love that, how excited you are, because I have a picture of spreadsheets each time you talk. But you make it so human, so like warm, and I love it.
Yeah, spreadsheets are our happy place.
Okay, so looking back to a year ago, even I think it was last May, not May, the May, like back May 2024, that we
Yeah,
started working together.
yeah.
Where were you, if you can remember, emotionally, mentally, or even whatever dimension you want to address in your work, in your business, and your visibility compared to where you feel you are currently? Let's
Mm.
open the door to kind of a, how would you paint with a brush the before and after?
Yeah, it's such a great question. It's interesting when you go on an evolution, sometimes it's hard to remember where you were a year ago.
Yeah.
But when I think back to it, I was posting consistently, but I was posting what I had been taught to post. So for me, the consistency on showing up on social media wasn't the issue. It was more, I wasn't necessarily presenting all of me. So for example, I didn't talk about the fact that I was a chartered accountant. I talked about the fact that I was a medical herbalist. I talked about the fact that I was an executive coach, but never like marrying the two together. And in my business, I was a little bit disjointed because I still work in corporate. I still lead finance teams and I love it. And so I felt like there were three parts of me. You know, there was the finance leader, there was the medical herbalist, and there was the executive coach, executive mentor. And so the way I was showing up was quite fragmented. And as you know, when you show up in a fragmented way, the people who are receiving your message or tuning into you, they sense that fragmentation. And that fragmentation shows up in your business. So I was like, I don't understand. I'm doing the things, but I'm not getting the clients or the traction that the things are meant to bring. So what's different? And then we had a conversation, and I remember you said to me, it was something like you said, I see you showing up on social media, but you're not really showing up. And I was like, ooh, curiosity is one of my favorite things. I was like, tell me more about that. And then it's just been a whole year of discovering who I am, bringing that together and feeling safe to talk about it in public. Like just the fact that we're doing a live with no script, we don't really know what we're going to talk about. It's just going to come. Like Tracy a year ago would never have done that. Would have been a script, would have been perfected. It would have been, how's the light? Let's talk about this. Let's think about this. What am I going to say? Now it's just like, oh, well, what comes, comes.
I know. You're so right. Like, this is so beautiful. Even we shared a round table a few weeks ago at Nina's, and you and I, we were guests, right? So
Yeah.
I that day, because I was in another perspective, I saw that you're like so different. Like, you're so like, yeah, this is me and this is what I think. And that is so, I don't know. Tell me if that feels like this. Freedom?
Yeah, it does. It is freeing. And also it shows up in unexpected ways because we started working together in terms of my business because I've always been known for being a great communicator and a great leader. Like my background is fixing broken finance teams. So I came to you, with business hat on. But actually, once you start sort of opening up that visibility, it shows up in all aspects of your life. So it shows up in how I'm being as a leader. It shows up at home, how I am with my friends, how I am with my family. It's like it's an evolution of who you are as a person. So it's just, it's so much broader than just, oh, I need this to move my business along, for example.
Yeah. Is there one shift in particular outside of the fact that you feel that now you feel so like in French we say like a fish in a bowl, like doing live, for example? Like, is there one
Yeah.
shift that you have experienced that you didn't expect, when you signed up?
Yeah, I think the most unexpected shift, mainly because I wasn't aware that I was doing it, was that I was tailoring my message based on the room that I found myself in. And I'm talking more in terms of leading, being in a corporate workplace. So I would internally censor what I was saying based on who was in the room. And actually, what that does is it's almost a disservice, because the reason you're in the room is because there is something that needs to be said, and you are the person who can bring your experience, your energy, the way that you present information. Your unique package means that that's the message that needs to be heard. And so I think the most unexpected thing was that shift where I, for the most part, because I'm still human, but for the most part, I'm not diluting the message, apparently. Rumor has it. The birth certificate says I'm human. No, it's like, yeah, I'm not diluting that message anymore. Like, I trust my body. It's like when I feel something needs to be said, I'll say it. I'll obviously read the room, read the energy, right? It's not like a blurt and flirt kind of thing. But the message comes through and it's like, I no longer stop that from coming through.
Oh, I love this. It's like you don't need any permission anymore. You just go for it fully.
Yeah, you just trust, right? You just trust.
Yeah. So something that you and I did that I would love you to speak to is we started to have conversation live, right? And we were like picking a topic that one of your client asked you or that you heard around a question. So and then for me as your mentor in that moment, I felt a new light in you, like and the way you were, I don't know, in the conversation, the frequency of the way you were like expressing yourself and so passionate. Tell me more about, and I know you enjoyed it, like you didn't see that as an interview, you were like so in it. So tell me if you can describe, because there are so many women when I talk to them, like they always say, I would never do what you do, talking like this about this and that. Can you break that down? Because we didn't decide that at the beginning. It came after, with the 7-factor visible interview that I do. And that this is when I realized, like, oh my God, when you speak, we listen, right? So what was your experience of going live? I think we were doing it every other week or so.
I think when we first started doing it, I used to be the person who would never do a live, right? Like the fact that I showed up on video, I would do that because if I didn't like it, I could delete it and retake it, right? So for me, the scary part was like, because it's live, there's no retakes, it is what it is kind of thing. And it took me a long time to get over that. And when I remember back to the first time we started doing that, I think it was a leap of faith, really, because we'd been working together, I don't know, maybe 6 months, so something like that. And so we had that safety in that container where, we were used to having conversations, and I would talk to you about themes that were showing up in the coaching I was doing with clients, for example, because we would be talking about it in terms of, how can I serve more people with this message that's come through, with 5 clients this week. Clearly that's something that gets to be talked about. And I remember the first time when we did that, with the visible elements, I remember I had that thought where I was like, what am I going to talk about? I don't know. And I can remember you might have asked me something like, what are you passionate about? And my subconscious was like, ooh, slam that down, passion. Oh, I don't know. And I was like, oh, I don't know. But then over time, as it felt safer and safer to talk about it, I don't know, something kind of opened up and it became okay to talk about that sort of stuff. And then it kind of like, it's baby steps, right? So I was used to recording myself on video. Then I became used to talking to you about the visible elements, which was pre-recorded. And then the next step was, well, let's do a live where we have a conversation about stuff. So it was an evolution. It wasn't like, you start on day one and then like in 2 weeks' time you're going live. It was a step-by-step unfolding, if you like.
Yeah. And then the last phase was live on LinkedIn. We were live on LinkedIn, and yes, and I always say it takes courage to get out there. At first, we think that we have our own fear, yes, but when you see the impact that you have on someone, there is always someone watching. And when you hear, and I remember you telling me someone that you were close to that actually became a client after, that she told you, well, I follow what you do. I know what you said the other day. Like, this is in those moments you're like, oh, I'm not just talking in the void. People are listening. And I remember that day for me, that was like, yes, because most of the time we don't know who we touch, right? There are plenty of people who are watching, that are going to be watching this video. We have no idea who, but who knows what it will change in their life. And when that leap of faith that you did going live, I so admire that courage, because that means inside of you, you believe that we're a gem, each of us, especially in the world of business. We use our business to change the world, whether for you it's a workplace that you want to change. Everybody has their own focus on. And when you know that each time you talk, someone is listening and changing their trajectory, that's when you start to embody the courage of getting it wrong or not knowing what to say. But it never really happens, by the way.
No, it never happens. There's no wrong.
There is no wrong.
The other thing to remember is that even if you don't hear, it looks like you're not getting engagement, or it looks like you're not getting comment, because that, for example, that specific one, because I talk to finance people a lot, we don't tend to hang out and comment on LinkedIn. It's not something that a lot of finance people naturally do. So sometimes I felt like I was talking and no one was hearing it. And then that particular instance, no one had commented on that post, but I had a couple of people say to me, oh, you know what? I was having a really tough week and I saw your post about X and it really helped. But no one had left a comment on that post. So just because you're not getting the physical signs of it, doesn't mean that it's not being watched, listened, heard, devoured.
Yeah. All that. Yeah. And thank you for sharing that, because this is always the case. So it always works. That's what, I say, whatever you do, if you come from that place that you really want to have an impact and let the world know that you exist, that you are the solution to that problem that you're solving, there is always someone watching. Always. You never know. Sometimes you do, but there is always someone watching. Always, always, always. So thank you for sharing this. So if someone, is watching this, Tracy, and it is not the first video that you and I do, that's why I like to do them at the beginning and then at the end, and they say, I'm not sure I'm ready for this, it sounds very intense. What would you want them to know from your own experience so that they understand better, the next move they can make?
Yeah, great question. And I think it's interesting, isn't it? Because I think sometimes, you come across something and deep down it's something that would be beneficial, but it feels like too much or too big a step. And often we go into that frame of reference because we're looking at the end point. So we're looking at where we are at that point in time, and we're looking at the end point, like going from having to script every video to just doing a live and just trusting that whatever is going to be said is going to be said. That's a year's journey. So if you're feeling called to, there's something within me that wants to be expressed and I'm not sure what the next step is, first of all, just honor that nudge and remember that it's a step-by-step process. You get to crawl, then you get to walk, then you get to run. So the fear is often because we think we're moving from crawling into the running phase, and that's just not the case. So I would suggest just to reach out to Angelique, have a conversation and feel into it, and just trust that if this is the path for you, that there is nothing that will come your way that you can't handle.
Love it. Yeah, thank you for saying this. And also, when you were saying this, I was like, there is a part of the maybe the resistance that is also the fact that what if the thing you're the most scared of is to actually say what you really want to say and be fully expressed? Because you know that the moment you allow this, it's going to change everything. It's going to change the way, the frequency of your posts. It's going to change the way you lead your clients when you coach them, if you're a coach, or your teams, or how you do photo shoots, how you show up on your photos from that place. And I've seen this with you, Tracy. Your photo shoots are beautiful, and there is a new energy.
Yeah,
and you built that from that place so I was listening to you, and I'm like, maybe the thing, and I think for me it's the same when I say yes to a new adventure with a new coach, is because I know I'm gonna go next level. And who am I next level?
Yeah. Who am I to have what I've wanted my whole life? Who am I to have my heart's desire? Who am I to have all those clients? What would I do then?
So, talking about possibilities, what is possible for you now, Tracy, in your work, in your leadership, in your confidence, in your new way of feeling that certainty inside of you in terms of presenting what you do as the solution for people that you didn't feel possible before we worked together?
I think it's showing up in that I'm saying yes more often. Like the roundtable was a great example of that, right? Where it was a roundtable about visibility. And, there was that tiny part of me that was like, but I work with corporate people. How would I talk about that? And the old me would have been like, oh no, I'll just play safe on that. I'll no, thank you. But actually, I just say yes to things now, and I just like, okay, let's give it a go, see where it turns up. And using that experience, it was the most amazing experience. We got to hang out with incredible women, talk about amazing things, and I learned new things, and I got to share things in a way I hadn't shared them publicly before, because it's all an evolution of whatever it is that you're working with at that time. And so if I hadn't said yes to that, I wouldn't have had that experience.
Definitely. And it was a beautiful thank you for sharing a very concrete experience, because that's what happens. The more steps you do towards your visibility, and your mind is always like, oh, maybe it's not the right crowd or the right time. It's always good. It's always good for you to, it's like a gym, right? The more, for me, each time I do a podcast or if I go on stage to speak, it's not natural yet for me. And it's always like, I always see that as a muscle. Repeat. And it's each time it's like, oh my God, I'm glad I did it. But everything that comes outside of our comfort zone is always uncomfortable. And but we know that everything we desire is outside of that zone. So it's a good sign that we feel uncomfortable when we say yes to things that we're not sure. But we feel also the excitement of seeing ourselves in a new place, in a new circumstances, and in a new light. And we grow. And we grow. Every scenario makes us grow. So thank you for sharing this. And anything else I should have asked, Tracy, that you want to share?
I don't know. And what else can we talk about? What else can we talk about? I feel like we've kind of said it. It's like, if you feel a nudge, give it a go. What's the worst that can happen? And give yourself permission to take baby steps. I think too often, we have that, I don't know, almost that external pressure of presenting ourselves as the final package. But actually, you're allowed to be work in progress. We all are. It's called life.
Yeah. And even, I always think of If you look at Tony Robbins, who is a very visible person, if you look at his first videos and who is now on videos, we all have evolutions of our identity. And the beauty of videos on internet is that you can check them out because I stay for a while, right? But whoever you see in for me, I'm thinking of Tony Robbins, but it could be anyone. You can see the evolution of the person, of the identity, because that's what it is in the end, is how we became inside of us, shift the way we present our message. And I find the level of conviction as well, and the belief in ourselves. It's louder, but subtle. It's not louder in a way that I'm screaming, but it's more anchored, right? I find
more grounded.
Grounded, yes.
Yeah.
Less proving energy. Yes.
Yeah. Less proving energy. It's like I'm just thinking, like when you listen to your podcast, I'm on, I don't know, just over 200 episodes on Project Joyful, and it's like if I listen to the first episode, I almost don't recognize that person, and it's just, like you say, building that muscle, right?
Yes. Yeah. So talk about your podcast. That's a good way to get to know you. Or is there anything we could give to the people going to be watching so that they can get into your world? What do you want to? How do we get people to join your world?
Oh, fun. Yeah. Okay. So here's a beautiful example of something we didn't talk about.
Yes. Yeah. The funnel is built. Let's use it.
So what I'll do then is I've got a beautiful audio bundle called Feel Calm and Confident at Work.
Okay.
And it's 6 episodes that have been personally curated by me from the Project Joyful podcast, where I'm covering a whole range of elements that will help you to feel calmer, clearer, and more confident in the workplace. So it's things like, there's one of my favorite herbs, for example, when you're going through a stressful moment. It's how to feel more confident when you're about to go into a room or present information. So I'm really happy to provide that information to Angelique via a link. And you're welcome to enjoy it.
Do you have the link close to you, or do you want to give it after and then I'll put it in the description?
Let me find the link.
I'm going to wait. Like, we are no rush. If you have no rush, I'm in no rush.
Here it is. So if you go to www.tracytutty.co.nz, and that's TracyTutty.
Let me find it. Tracy Tutty. I'm gonna grab it from.
Oh yeah, cool. And then /calm and confident. Oh, I might be able to put it in the chat. Shall I do that?
Yeah. Give it to me. Chat.
Here it comes. You see that?
Yeah. Perfect. So I'm going to put in the comments. I believe I will have to put it in the description of it because StreamYard doesn't give it to you. Calm and confident. Calm and confident. Perfect. I put it there and it should show up. And if it doesn't show up on some of the channel, it showed up on YouTube, but not on Facebook. So I'll put it after. Okay. So great way to enjoy Tracy's awesomeness and her beautiful accent as well. And her love of plants and her humor as well. Thank you so much, Tracy, for taking the time. And
it's been an absolute pleasure hanging out with you.
And for your trust and for being my friend too.
Yay!
Okay, I'm going to close the live and stay there for a minute, and then I'll come backstage with you.
Yay.
Bye.
Bye.